It's my pleasure now to introduce, and is he here, our globetrotting keynote speaker. Dr. Mark G. Dotzour is the Chief Economist and Director of Research at Texas A&M Real Estate Research Center. Prior to his academic career, Mark was president of Glen Eagles Development, a developing residential subdivision in Wichita, Kansas. And he also served as president of Dotzour Inc. Realtors, which was a residential brokerage firm in Wichita. Mark earned his PhD in finance from the University of Texas at Austin a few years ago, and has served as associate professor of real estate in finance at Wichita State University also prior to that. As chief economist, he's currently doing market research to monitor how global and national trends are likely to impact both residential and commercial real estate markets. Mark has been at the Real Estate Research Center since '97, and since then he's published numerous articles in magazines and given countless presentations to, I wonder how many people, Mark. His research findings and comments have been published in the Wall Street Journal, Money Magazine, USA Today, and Business Week, and he's also been a guest on PBS News Show. Without further ado, let's welcome our old friend, Mark Dotzour.
Mic check here. Does this work? Can y'all back there in that corner, way back in the back, can you hear okay? Great, thank you very much. Good to be here. It's always great to be here in Houston. I can't believe it's been 10 years I've been doing this, but time does go by. And I've got a short period of time here because we have a lot of great speakers up here. I'm going to be the MC, so I'm going to help ask these people questions, and it's going to be my job to keep it on time. So if you're a speaker up here, don't feel bad. I just did this for the Austin CCIM 2 days ago, and I gave every one of those speakers a 3-minute warning, and then I stood up by them when it was like 30 seconds till time for you to go. So don't take it personally. I did that with the Mayor Pro Tem of Austin, as well as their top CCIM people. So the key thing is here with an economy needing gross domestic product here, the time value of money, with the number of people in this room, it's got to be costing the global economy at least $200,000 a minute here. So we want to be out of here at 11:45 and on our way. So it's, I'm going to kind of set the stage for the smart guys and gals to come up and talk about what's really happening in the marketplace. I'm just going to try to describe what's going on. And I came up with this Monty Python picture that I have to confess, I've only seen this movie once, and it was a long time ago. And the only thing I remember about was I thought it was stupid, but that I did remember the Black Knight. No matter how hard you kept cutting on him, he kept trying to fight. And that Black Knight are American investors and American business people right now, and the White Knight over there is the government. The only thing wrong with this picture, I didn't write the movie, is that the Black Knight is the good guy, the investor, the private sector, the business person trying to make a living, add value, make a little profit in this country. And the guy in the white there should be in the black. That's the federal government that's trying to do everything they can to carve the Black Knight up into nothing. And so if you want to know why the investment market is in a free fall of activity, there's no transaction volume, don't take it personally. That's all over the country, and it's not just in real estate, it's everything else. And let me just get with it here. I've already said these are business owners, and that's who it is, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, there's some black cards in front of you, business cards, got an old picture of me when I was younger on them. The reason there is because if you want a copy of my PowerPoints, email Lynn on the back, and I'll email it to her this afternoon, and she can get it to you tomorrow. That's why that's out there. And so let me just talk about this. See, this is what happens first. The government slashes the arm off of the Black Knight, and he's still standing, still ready to fight. Well, in my opinion, these are investor concerns. And this has been going on since I was here with a Chamber of Commerce meeting in January of 2008. That's when I first became aware of just how serious this problem was, because business people right here in Houston, Texas, when we were generating the most all the jobs in America right here in this town, were telling me it's the worst furniture market, it's the worst clothing market I've seen since 1991. I thought, holy cow, what's going on? Well, here's what happens. When your government threatens to take away your private property, your freedom, your money, your right to choose where you go for a vacation. Heaven forbid, don't go to Las Vegas. There's something wrong with that, see? That's just amazing. Let me just get a show of hands. I'm just curious, how many socialists have we got in the room? Come on. I actually ran into one, raised their hand, and that was back in October here in this town. And I looked at that person, I said, man, you got to be feeling pretty good right now, don't you? Okay? Well, if you're not a socialist, you're a capitalist, and what that means is you make money on the way up, you make more money at the top, you lose some on the way down, and a third of your competitors get washed out. They take bankruptcy without handouts from the government, and then you survive and make money on the upside on the other way because you get market share and you got rid of a bunch of weak competitors. We've been doing this for 150 years. We have recessions every 10 years or so. I don't know what has got into us where we feel like we can't survive. These government people have such little value, place such little value on you and the strength of the American people to survive an economy. They just go, oh, these big banks are too big to survive, too big to, what, fail? Yeah, well, that's poppycock. Our country's much stronger than a couple of banks. When I hear that, they used to say that about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, too big to fail. Baloney, that just means their lobbying budget is too big to fail. All right? And so, here's the deal. Here's why investors, see, I heard this like, well, a year and a half ago, oh, the debt side of real estate kind of dried up in about the July 18th of 2007. Meanwhile, Bernanke and Paulson and all the geniuses there were telling you opposite, that everything was fine, no contagion, it's all contained, no contagion, just a subprime. So they were misleading you all along, all through 2007 and 2008, and now they're misleading you again in 2009, just in a different direction. For 2007 and 8, they said there's no problem, and you knew better. And you stopped doing stuff, and now you got a new president that says we're going to have a catastrophe on our hands. And we're going to print money, we're going to run trillion-dollar deficits for many years into the future. That's just patently wrong too, as much as it was patently wrong for the previous president to say, hey, there's nothing wrong with the economy, we're strong, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, well capitalized, blah, blah, blah. And so what happens is people just, they want to believe government. We have this naive hope that our government won't lie to us. And that has just been totally shattered in the last 2 years because our government, no inflation, no recession, banks well capitalized, Fannie Freddie well capitalized. We won't run trillion-dollar deficits infinitely in the future. Not. Okay? So here you are. Here's what your investor looks at this morning. I'm talking about myself, and you know it too. You do too. Number one, you've got a government that's threatening you with raising the capital gains tax, which will knock the value of every piece of real estate off by 11% or so, and every stock by that much too. Not only that, but if you work for a living, if you're a small business, heaven forbid, you make more than $200,000, we're going to take money away from you. We're going to print too much money. That's what investors are worried about. What if our government prints too much money and destroys the value of my savings? Man, I'll tell you, there's enough people out there, you know it as well as I do, they're scared to death of that. And then a new president comes out and says, we may have to run trillion-dollar deficits for many years into the future. That's just putting gasoline on an open fire. All those people out there that have been scared to death about that very thing, and then here's your worst nightmare. Your president comes out and says exactly what you were scared of, is that this country will print money until there's no tomorrow. Government picks winners, government picks losers. Somehow Citibank's still winning, other banks have faded. Las Vegas is a loser. Las Vegas didn't do anything wrong other than some bank decided they were going to have a convention out there. And the president comes out and says, that's just not right to go to Las Vegas. Well, I got news for you. There are thousands of people that work for a living in Las Vegas that are trying to pay their bills and put their kids through school with people that come there for a convention. And so the president just picked